Assalamu alaikum everyone. Today I am joined by my cousin Muhammad Baswesi.
Today we are going to be hosting a Majlis for our 4 heroes together with 36 other lives lost on this day, whereby a 16-story building collapsed at the compound of the Dar Islam Mosque. Now I would like my cousin to start off tonight's program by inviting Imam of our time, Imam Mahdi, with the recitation of the Hujjat by Majlis.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma kulli waliyika Hujjat ibn al-Hasan. Salawatuka alayhi wa ala abai. Fi hadihi as-sa'a wa fi kulli sa'a. Waliyan wa hafidhan wa qaidan wa nasiran. Wa dalilan wa aynan. Hatta tuskinahu harjaka taw'an. وتمتعه فيها طويلا اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد.
We will now commence the recitation of Surah Yasin by Iman.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ياسين والقرآن الحكيم إنك لمن المرسلين على صراط مستقيم تنزيل العزيز الرحيم لتنذر قوما ما أنذر آباؤهم فهم غافلون لقد حق القول على أكثرهم فهم لا يؤمنون إنا جعلنا في أعناقهم أغلالا فهي إلى الأذقان فهم مقمحون وجعلنا من بين أيديهم سدا ومن خلفهم سدا فأغشيناهم فهم لا يبصرون وسواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون إنما تنذر من اتبع الذكر وخشي الرحمن بالغيب فبشره بمغفرة وأجر كريم إنا نحن نحيي الموتى ونكتب ما قدموا وآثارهم وكل شيء أحصيناه في إمام مبين واضرب لهم مثلا أصحاب القرية إذ جاءها المرسلون إذ أرسلنا إليهم 2 فكذبوهما فعززنا بثالث فقالوا إنا إليكم مرسلون قالوا ما أنتم إلا بشر مثلنا وما أنزل الرحمن من شيء إن أنتم إلا تكذبون قالوا ربنا يعلم إنا إليكم لمرسلون وما علينا إلا البلاغ المبين قالوا إنا تطيرنا بكم لئن لم تنتهوا لنرجمنكم وليمسنكم منا عذاب أليم قالوا طائركم معكم أئن ذكرتم بل أنتم قوم مسرفون وجاء من أقصى المدينة رجل يسعى قال يا قوم اتبعوا المرسلين اتبعوا من لا يسألكم أجرا وهم مهتدون وما لي لا أعبد الذي فطرني وإليه ترجعون أأتخذ من دونه آلهة إن يردني الرحمن بضر لا تغن عني شفاعتهم شيئا ولا ينقذون إني إذا لفي ضلال مبين إني آمنت بربكم فاسمعون قيل ادخل الجنة قال يا ليت قومي يعلمون بما غفر لي ربي وجعلني من المكرمين وما أنزلنا على قومه من بعده من جند من السماء وما كنا منزلين إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم خامدون يا حسرة على العباد ما يأتيهم من رسول إلا كانوا به يستهزئون ألم يروا كم أهلكنا قبلهم من القرون أنهم إليهم لا يرجعون وإن كل لما جميع لدينا محضرون وآية لهم الأرض الميتة أحييناها وأخرجنا منها حبا فمنه يأكلون وجعلنا فيها جنات من نخيل وأعناب وفجرنا فيها من العيون ليأكلوا من ثمره وما عملته أيديهم أفلا يشكرون سبحان الذي خلق الأزواج كلها مما تنبت الأرض ومن أنفسهم ومما لا يعلمون وآية لهم الليل نسلخ منه النهار فإذا هم مظلمون والشمس تجري لمستقر لها ذلك تقدير العزيز العليم والقمر قدرناه منازل حتى عاد كالأرجون القديم لا الشمس ينبغي لها أن تدرك القمر ولا الليل سابق النهار وكل في فلك يسبحون وآية لهم أنا حملنا ذريتهم في الفلك المشحون وخلقنا لهم من مثله ما يركبون وإن نشأ نغرقهم فلا صريخ لهم ولا هم ينقذون إلا رحمة منا ومتاعا إلى حين وإذا قيل لهم اتقوا ما بين أيديكم وما خلفكم لعلكم ترحمون وما تأتيهم من آية من آيات ربهم إلا كانوا عنها معرضين وإذا قيل لهم أنفقوا مما رزقكم الله قال الذين كفروا للذين آمنوا أنطعم من لو يشاء الله أطعمه إن أنتم إلا في ضلال مبين ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين ما ينظرون إلا صيحة واحدة تأخذهم وهم يخصمون فلا يستطيعون توصية ولا إلى أهلهم يرجعون ونفخ في السور فإذا هم من الأجداث إلى ربهم ينسلون قالوا يا ويلنا من بعثنا من مرقدنا هذا ما وعد الرحمن وصدق المرسلون إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم جميع لدينا محضرون فاليوم لا تظلم نفس شيئا ولا تجزون إلا ما كنتم تعملون إن أصحاب الجنة اليوم في شغل فاكهون هم وأزواجهم في ظلال على الأرائك متكئون لهم فيها فاكهة ولهم ما يدعون سلام قولا من رب رحيم وامتازوا اليوم أيها المجرمون ألم أعهد إليكم يا بني آدم ألا تعبدوا الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين وأن اعبدونه هذا صراط مستقيم ولقد أضل منكم جبيلا كثيرا أفلم تكونوا تعقلون هذه جهنم التي كنتم توعدون اصلوها اليوم بما كنتم تكفرون اليوم نختم على أفواههم وتكلمنا أيديهم وتشهد أرجلهم بما كانوا يكسبون ولو نشاء لطمسنا على أعينهم فاستبقوا الصراط فأنى يبصرون ولو نشاء لمسخناهم على مكانتهم فما استطاعوا مضيا ولا يرجعون ومن نعمره ننكسه في الخلق أفلا يعقلون وما علمناه شعرا وما ينبغي له إن هو إلا ذكر وقرآن مبين لينذر من كان حيا ويحق القول على الكافرين أولم يروا أنا خلقنا لهم مما عملت أيدينا أنعاما فهم لها مالكون وظللناها لهم فمنها ركوبهم ومنها يأكلون ولهم فيها منافع ومشارب أفلا يشكرون واتخذوا من دون الله آلهة لعلهم ينصرون لا يستطيعون نصرهم وهم لهم جند محضرون فلا يحزنك قولهم إنا نعلم ما يسرون وما يعلنون أولم ير الإنسان أنا خلقناه من نطفة فإذا هو خصيم مبين وضرب لنا مثلا ونسي خلقه قال من يحيي العظام وهي رميم قل يحييها الذي أنشأها أول مرة وهو بكل خلق عليم الذي جعل لكم من الشجر الأخضر نارا فإذا أنتم منه توقدون أوليس الذي خلق السماوات والأرض بقادر على أن يخلق مثلهم بلى وهو الخلاق العليم إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون فسبحان الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء وإليه ترجعون صدق الله العلي العظيم الفاتحة.
Thank you for the wonderful recitation, Iman. Now we will continue with the recitation of Surah Mulk by Brother Ali Akbar Karim.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم تبارك الذي بيده الملك وهو على كل شيء قدير الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا وهو العزيز الغفور الذي خلق 7 سماوات طباقا ما ترى في خلق الرحمن من تفاوت فارجع البصر هل ترى من فتور ثم ارجع البصر كرتين ينقلب إليك البصر خاسئا وهو حسير ولقد زينا السماء الدنيا بمصابيها وجعلناها رجوما للشياطين وأعتدنا لهم عذاب السير وللذين كفروا بربهم عذاب جهنم وبئس المصير إذا ألقوا فيها سمعوا لها شهيقا وهي تفور تكاد تميز من الغيظ كلما ألقي فيها فوج سألهم خزنتها ألم يأتكم نذير قالوا بلى قد جاءنا نذير وكذبنا وقلنا ما نزل الله من شيء إن أنتم إلا في ضلال كبير وقالوا لو كنا نسمع أو نعقل ما كنا في أصحاب السعير فاعترفوا بذنبهم فسحقا لأصحاب السعير إن الذين يخشون ربهم بالغيب لهم مغفرة وأجر كبير وأسروا قولكم واجهروا به إنه عليم بذات الصدور ألا يعلم من خلق وهو اللطيف الخبير هو الذي جعل لكم الأرض ذلولا فامشوا في مناكبها وكلوا من رزقه وإليه النشور أأمنتم من في السماء أن يخسف بكم الأرض فإذا هي تمور أم أمنتم من في السماء أن يرسل عليكم حاصبا فستعلمون كيف نذير ولقد كذب الذين من قبلهم فكيف كان نكير أولم يروا إلى الطير فوقهم صافات ويقبض ما يمسكهن إلا الرحمن إنه بكل شيء بصير أمن هذا الذي هو جند لكم ينصركم من دون الرحمن إن الكافرون إلا في غرور أمن هذا الذي يرزق من أمسك رزقه بل لجوا في عتو ونفور أفمن يمشي مكبا على وجهه أحدى أمن يمشي سويا على صراط مستقيم قل هو الذي أنشأكم وجعل لكم السمع والأبصار والأفئدة قليلا ما تشكرون قل هو الذي ذرعكم في الأرض وإليه تحشرون ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين قل إنما العلم عند الله وإنما أنا نذير مبين فلما رأوا زلفة سيئت وجوه الذين كفروا وقيل هذا الذي كنتم به تدعون قل أرأيتم إن أهلكني الله ومن معي أو رحمنا فمن يجير الكافرين من عذاب أليم قل هو الرحمن آمنا به وعليه توكلنا فستعلمون من هو في ضلال مبين قل أرأيتم إن أصبح ماؤكم غورا فمن يأتيكم بماء معين صدق الله العلي العظيم.
Thank you, Brother Ali Akbar Karim, for that wonderful recitation. Now we will enlighten ourselves with the recitation of Marcia by Brother Muhammad Abbas Karim.
Before I commence, can I please request a Surah Fatiha for Marhum Sohail Ali Muhammad Karim, Marhum Salman Salim Damji, Marhum Zahid Abbas Muhammad Kanji, and Marhum Yusuf Shafiq Khaki. Al-Fatiha. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. برائے تعجیل ظہور امام زمانہ باز بلند صلوات اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل محمد وعجل فرجہم. اکبر تمہیں معلوم ہے کیا مانگ رہے ہو، تم باپ سے مرنے کی رضا مانگ رہے ہو. اکبر تمہیں معلوم ہے کیا مانگ رہے ہو، تم باپ سے مرنے کی رضا مانگ رہے ہو. اس عالم غربت میں تمہیں جانے دوں کیسے، اس دشت مصیبت میں تمہیں جانے دوں کیسے، ارے اس وقت قیامت میں تمہیں جانے دوں کیسے. اے لال جو تم اذن وغا مانگ رہے ہو، تم باپ سے مرنے کی رضا مانگ رہے ہو. کیا گزرے گی اس باپ کے دل پر نہیں سوچا، تم نے یہ میری جان علی اکبر نہیں سوچا. ارے مر جاؤں گا میں تجھ سے بچھڑ کر نہیں سوچا، تم مجھ سے ضعیفی کا عصا مانگ رہے ہو، تم باپ سے مرنے کی رضا مانگ رہے ہو. اور دل روتا ہے نظروں سے اگر دور ہو بیٹا، کس طرح جدائی تیری منظور ہو بیٹا. تم ہی میری آنکھیں ہو، میرا نور ہو بیٹا. مجھ سے میری آنکھوں کی ضیا مانگ رہے ہو، تم باپ سے مرنے کی رضا مانگ رہے ہو. اکبر تمہیں معلوم ہے کیا مانگ رہے ہو تم باپ سے مرنے کی رضا مانگ رہے ہو ایک روز تجھے آن کے مانگا تھا پھوپھی نے 18 برس نازوں سے پالا تھا پھوپھی نے بیٹوں سے بھی زیادہ تمہیں چاہا تھا پھوپھی نے احسان جو زینب نے کیا مانگ رہے ہو تم باپ سے مرنے کی رضا مانگ رہے ہو سر تیرا بھی جس وقت چڑھے گا سر نیزا ہوگا سر میدان جدا سر بھی تمہارا ہم شکل پیغمبر کا گلا کاٹیں گے آدھا گویا میرے نانا کا گلا مانگ رہے ہو تم باپ سے مرنے کی رضا مانگ رہے ہو بابا مجھے معلوم ہے کیا مانگ رہا ہوں ایک باپ سے مرنے کی رضا مانگ رہا ہوں بابا مجھے اماں نے بھی کچھ درس دیا ہے آداب وفا سے مجھے آگاہ کیا ہے پہلے میں مروں آپ سے وعدہ یہ لیا ہے بس اس لیے مرنے کی رضا مانگ رہا ہوں ایک باپ سے مرنے کی رضا مانگ رہا ہوں بابا مجھے احوال دل زار پتا ہے سخت بہت منزل دشوار پتا ہے اور دین کا مشکل میں ہے سردار پتا ہے یوں آپ سے مرنے کی رضا مانگ رہا ہوں ایک باپ سے مرنے کی رضا مانگ رہا ہوں As requested, I just recited a kalam on the relationship and the conversation between Imam Hussein and Hazrat Ali Akbar as I was requested, but I also thought it would be fitting to recite a kalam on behalf of the mothers. Wa Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajah کہتی تھی ماں خوں بھری میت سے لپٹ کر ہے علی اکبر ہے علی اکبر ارمان تھا پہناؤں گی پوشاک شہانی افسوس کے راس آئی نہ تجھے کو یہ جوانی کیسا تھا مقدر ہے علی اکبر اتنا تو ذرا ٹھہرو تمہیں بنا لوں، پھر ایک جھلک سحر کی صحرا کو دکھا لوں، بے چین ہے خواہر، ہے علی اکبر، اور ماں تیری جدائی میں بھلا کیسے جیے گی، ارے مر جائے گی صغرا جو خبر تیری سنے گی، اب کیا کروں جی کر، ہے علی اکبر، اور پہلے تو ایک آواز پہ اٹھ جاتے تھے بیٹا، ارے اب اتنی صداؤں پہ بھی پہلو نہیں بدلا، کیا ہو گیا دلبر، ہے علی اکبر، جب کوئی جوان لاش نظر آتی ہے محشر، جب کوئی جوان لاش نظر آتی ہے محشر، ایک یاد سوئے کرب و بلا جاتی ہے محشر، دل روتا ہے کہہ کر، ہے علی اکبر، کہتی تھی ماں خون بھری میت سے لپٹ کر، ہے علی اکبر، برائے تعجیل ظہور امام زمانہ باز بلند صلوات، اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم.
Now we will transfer to the scholar who needs no introduction, Sayyid AMMAR NAKSHAWANI. We were so blessed to have him here back in January. It was a wonderful experience for all of us, and we thank him to take some time off his schedule to come recite this Majlis for us.
Before I begin, 8 years to the day that we lost a number of our community members in the tragic accident that took place outside the Dar es Salaam Jamaat. We lost members of our community and members of the Dar es Salaam community generally, both Khawaja Ithna Ashari as well as those of the African community. And amongst them, we lost 4 angels at a very young age: Yusuf Kaki, Salman Damji, Zahid Khanji, as well as Suhail Karim. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless their souls and bless the souls of their marhumeen and give their families patience in this difficult time. Rahim Allah man qara'a Surat al-Fatiha. Bismillah. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا وعظيمنا وحبيب قلوبنا وشفيع نفوسنا أبي القاسم محمد اللهم صل على وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين وأصحابه الغر الميامين. الحمد لله الذي جعلنا من المتمسكين بولاية سيدي ومولاي علي بن أبي طالب. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. أما بعد، يقول الله في كتابه الكريم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم: وأصبح فؤاد أم موسى فارغا. The story of the relationship between the mother of Nabi Musa alayhi salam and Nabi Musa alayhi salam is without a doubt one of the saddest as well as one of the most fascinating stories in the Holy Quran. Indeed, this particular story highlights just how difficult the separation period is between a mother and her young child. Because we know without a doubt there is no relationship that exists like the relationship of a mother and her children. As much as we want to talk about the relationship between a father and his children, and without a doubt that closeness is not something that can be underestimated, the relationship between the mother and her child is a relationship which has a head start. The head start may be 6 months, or it may be 9 months. But the reality of that head start is that the mother carried the child where nobody else was carrying that child. The father comes into the life of that baby after the baby has passed 9 months with the mother. The mother, therefore, her relationship with her child is a relationship which is unequaled. And that's why, therefore, the separation of a child from its mother is one of the most difficult moments in the life of any mother. There is no difficulty that you will see, no anguish that you will be able to witness like the anguish when a mother is separated from her child. That separation, of course, can come in different ways in the history of humanity. The separation can come, for example, when a person has to give up their child for adoption because of poverty. The separation could be because of war. The separation could be because the child has to go and study and travel away from the mother. And sometimes, tragically, the separation could be a separation that occurs when? Could be a separation that occurs when you see that particular child die. And that's why you find that there are people out there who have seen their child die in front of them. When they see their child die in front of them, or they hear of their child's death, no doubt it is a burden on them to carry. Because it's not easy for that mother. That mother was expecting that child to be a child who one day grows up, goes to university, graduates, gets married, and now that mother hears of a separation between her and that child. That is devastating. The child is the heart of the mother walking outside her body. If the mother could say where her heart is, it's when her child walks outside her body. But when that child is separated from her, or when that child dies, then at that moment what happens? At that moment that the heart of the mother stops beating. Therefore, you found that sadly in the last 15, 20 years, many ladies in the Muslim community have seen their children die in front of them. In Iraq, in Syria, in Afghanistan, in Pakistan. Every day we hear of mothers whose children were killed in a bomb blast. Children who were killed in a suicide bomb. Those mothers in many cases do not recover. And therefore the question arises, how do they hold on to their Iman? Because one of the biggest tests of Iman is when something is taken away from you that you take for granted will be with you forever. Every mother sees the other mothers take their children to school. Her child's not there. Every mother sees other mothers, for example, who go on ziyarah with their children. They do not have that child with them. Every mother sees other mothers seeing their children get married. They don't see their child get married. How does a person maintain their Iman? It's by holding on to the Quran and the Ahlul Bayt. Because when you study the Quran and you study the lives of Ahlul Bayt, salawatullah wa salamu alayhim, you'll find that within their lives, they faced what we faced. Sometimes we imagine Ahlul Bayt as if we can't relate to them. The reality is that Ahlul Bayt, salawatullah wa salamu alayhim, you can relate to them. How do you relate to them? By exploring certain angles of their lives which relate to the mothers who lost their 4 sons in Dar es Salaam. Let us tonight examine how a mother, and for that matter even a father, can relate to certain incidents within the Quran in relation to those innocent boys who died on that fateful day. And I'd like to examine this in the following stages. Number 1, how does Nabi Musa's mother alayhi salam show her emotion when her son is separated from her? Number 2, how did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help her? And how does God promise to help all those who have tawakkul and trust in Him? Number 3, which other mother in the Quran had to see her son being separated from her at such a young age? Number 4, what are the rights that my child has over me? And if my child dies, can I still look after some of their rights? And finally, when I go through the trial of having lost my young child, who can I hold on to on the plains of Karbala, who can show me about patience in the way they live their life? Let's examine this and dissect the topic in complete depth. When a person looks at the stories in the Quran, there are certain stories that relate to our lives in one way or the other. Amongst them is the story of Nabi Musa alayhi salam. Nabi Musa's story is one of the most profound stories in the Quran and in the Bible and in the Torah. We know that we share Nabi Musa alayhi salam with the Christian community and with the Jewish community. That means that half the world's population has an admiration and a respect for Nabi Musa alayhi salam. Nabi Musa, as we know, is the most mentioned prophet in the Holy Quran. And when you look at Nabi Musa alayhi salam, Allah gives us virtually a biography of Nabi Musa from the day he is born until the end of his life. And that Nabi Musa alayhi salam was born in very difficult circumstances, because Fir'aun was informed that there's going to be a young one who will grow up and he will end your empire. When the soothsayers told Fir'aun this, Fir'aun said, then kill each newborn baby. Imagine those mothers, what they faced. You've just given birth and the soldiers come and kill your baby. What would you do? Those people were in fear. The fear that they were in was because Pharaoh had ordered that the mothers have their babies killed. And therefore in Surah Al-Qasas, Surah 28 of the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes for us what was happening to the mother of Musa alayhi salam. Because the mother of Musa alayhi salam was a lady who had heard that they are going around killing anybody who's a newborn male. So she thought, if I keep this newborn male over here, they're going to kill him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the first level protected her, that the signs of pregnancy could not be seen. That's why when people say, how is it that Bibi Narjis gave birth to 12th Imam and there were no signs of pregnancy? Nabi Musa's mother alayhi salam had no signs of pregnancy. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protected her, knowing that she was about to give birth to a Messiah. But on the second level, when she did give birth, she knew if this baby stays at home, it's going to get killed. Therefore, I'm going to have to separate from this baby. One of the most difficult moments any mother can face is separation from her baby. Do you know how many ladies in the world today have left their babies in adoption agencies, in social housing, maybe even on people's doorsteps, because they are not able to look after them? All the way back in human history, there have been these cases that sometimes because of danger, you're not able to look after your child. Nabi Musa's mother alayhi salam, she wanted to look after Nabi Musa, but she knew these people are going to come to the house and kill him. So what did she do? She put him in a basket and she made him go down the river Nile. The Quran says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَىٰ أُمِّ مُوسَىٰ أَنْ أَرْضَعِيهِ. We revealed to the mother of Musa to suckle him. Notice here when the Quran says وَأَوْحَيْنَا. Wahi normally only comes to prophets of Allah. Don't you agree? Nabi Musa's mom is not a prophet. How comes Wahi comes to her? Because sometimes when you as a mother are facing trials, Allah talks to you directly. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows that your heart is beating. He knows you have anguish. He knows that you are in a state of sadness. The Quran here uses wahi for a lady who's not a prophet of Allah. If it was wahi for Ibrahim or Musa or Isa or Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, I understand. وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَىٰ أُمِّ مُوسَىٰ أَرْضَعِهِ. We revealed to the mother of Musa, suckle your baby first. إِذَا خِفْتِ عَلَيْهِ. If you fear for him, فَأَلْقِيهِ فِي الْيَمِّ. Then put him in a basket. وَلَا تَخَافِ وَلَا تَحْزَنِ. Do not fear, nor should you grieve. Why? Because what happens automatically when a mother is separated from her child? She goes in a state of khawf and a state of huzn. Number one, is there something wrong if the mother goes in a state of fear and a state of grief? No problem. Because you have some husbands who say, Bana, stop! All you ever do is cry. All you ever do is complain. Why are you sad? Stop being sad. What? Wait. Nabi Musa's mother alayhi salam was separated from her child. The child hasn't been killed. Child hasn't been dead. But Allah noticed she has in her khawf and huzn. Because we see some ladies, the husbands don't care about their mental health. A lady, after she's given birth, she is having physical changes in her body. Her mental health can come under question. A lady, for example, when her child goes away to study, she's under a lot of pressure because she's used to that child being there. She's now in a state of fear, maybe in a state of grief. Nabi Musa's mom is a mother of a ma'soom. Even she had fear and she had grief. Not the fear that takes you out of the boundary of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy, or the grief that takes you. Because you can have fear where you become or you reach a level where you forget Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You can have grief where you have grief over something which you should not be grieving. It takes you outside of the boundaries of the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Here, when the Quran said to her, وَلَا تَخَافِ وَلَا تَحْزَنِ, don't be scared, don't grieve. إِنَّا رَادُّوهُ إِلَيْكِ وَجَاعِلُوهُ مِنَ الْمُرْسَلِينَ. We'll return him to you, and we will make him a messenger of Allah. Ya Allah, how will you return him? This is the test of tawakkul for a mother. The test of tawakkul is to trust the plan of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not easy. When you see other mothers, their child grows up, it's not easy for you to trust the plan of Allah. When you see other mothers have many children and you lose a child, not easy for you to trust the plan of Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here was telling us Musa's mother was in a state of fear and grief, but she trusted me. I told her I will return him, don't worry. But the Quran then mentions a lovely ayah highlighting what happens to our mom when she doesn't know where her child is or what's happening to her child. Because you know, Asiya, the wife of Pharaoh, what did she do? She saw the basket with a baby by the river Nile. They used to live on the edge of the Nile. She took the baby, she said, this is the apple of my eye. Asiya could not have children. So she said to Pharaoh, can we adopt him? Pharaoh, what's he thinking? Pharaoh's thinking, what if this is the baby who brings down my empire? This might be the baby who brings down my empire. She said, please, 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 Pharaoh. He said to her, just for you, okay. They wanted Nabi Musa to suckle milk. But a lot of the people around Pharaoh were not people who were doing tawheed. They were doing shirk. Would the Prophet of Allah take milk from a mushrik? Or mushrikah, I say? No. So they waited until Musa's sister came to Musa's mom saying, there's a job advertisement. They're looking for someone who will suckle Musa. Musa separated from the mom. Allah brought him back. She got the job, but her heart had reached a level where she was going to let out all her emotion. The Quran said, وَأَصْبَحَ فُؤَادُ أُمِّ مُوسَى فَارِغًا. Musa's mother's heart had reached something of an emptiness, because a mum who is separated from her child, her heart becomes empty. It becomes difficult for her. But because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, she trusted His plan, she remained strong for Nabi Musa alayhi salam. She could have easily said, why are we in this house? Let's escape. No, no, no. This is Allah's plan. If Musa has to grow up in the house of the zalim, who later Musa will bring down, this is Allah's plan. The beauty, therefore, of this story was that a mother has every right to show her emotion. Sometimes in our community, because we are a community that if someone is emotional, we say negative things about them, the mother doesn't know how to open up. You know, sometimes, even as men, we need to sit with other men and vent. We need to let out our frustration. We need to open up. Sometimes we need to cry. Nabi Musa alayhi salam's mother's child was not even dead. And her heart was empty. She's the mother of a ma'soom. And she was emotional. In Islam, therefore, a mother being emotional, separated from her child, is not haram. Don't look at a mother who's emotional with her children and say, why are you over emotional? What is this? This is typical ladies. No. A mother of a prophet was separated from her child. Her child wasn't even dead. Her child wasn't even killed. Her child didn't even have a building fall on him. She just feared that Fir'aun would execute the child because Fir'aun wanted to kill the newborn males. And she was emotional and her heart was broken. Yet what she trusted was that, Ya Allah, that child is your amanat. If you want to take the child, take the amanat back. Because this is the major philosophy. Every mother in the Quran, Musa's mother, the baby Musa, she looked at him as an amanat. It's not easy. But our children are an amanat in two ways. One way is that we return them to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, having understood the principles of the religion. A second way is that Allah gave them to us as a loan for a certain time. When He wants to take them, He can take them, because He is the owner of inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Therefore, Nabi Musa's mother highlighted that if you as a mother recognize that your child is an amana, you cannot expect your child to have a life which is long. Allah decides. If that child is to return after a year, returns after a year. If that child is to return after when? After 60 years, 70 years, that's when they return. The plan is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why, which other mother in the Quran do we see who faces anguish because her child is about to die? Hajar with Ismail. Nabi Ibrahim tells Hajar, how close is Hajar to her baby Ismail? Hajar was alone in Mecca with Ismail with no water. Hajar saw Zamzam. Hajar ran from Safa to Marwa. Hajar raised Ismail. One day Ibrahim says, come here. What is it? I'm going to take your child. I have to go and kill him for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, sacrifice. Hajar could have said, no way. But she knew that child was an amana. That child was also a gift. Therefore, Allah decides, if my child is to go, that's my Lord's amana, not mine. My Lord's decision. Did Hajar ever tell Ibrahim alayhi salam, no, this is my child, he has to live forever? She said, if this is your Lord's decision, I trust your Lord. Why do we throw stones at Shaytan in Hajj? Because Shaytan kept on telling Hajar, Hajar, this is your boy, your mom. A mom can never lose her boy. She said, Allah has decided, I submit to Allah. Why? Allah gave me a gift. If He wants to take the gift back, Bismillah. Ibrahim, yes, come here. Take the knife, take the rope, go and kill him. Which mother would do that? If a mother has a knife and rope, would she offer it to her husband to kill the son? Do you know how Allah honored this lady Hajar? Because He knew it's not easy for a mom to see the son go to school for 3 hours. Imagine seeing the son in Qabristan. How did Allah honor Hajar? Every Muslim does tawaf, not just around Allah's house, but around her grave next to Kaaba. Around the Kaaba there's a semicircle, true? Who's buried in there? The mother, who remains strong, with complete tawakkul, with complete taslim, and trust in Allah's plan. Allah made every Muslim in tawaf go around her grave and his house. You think we're just going around the house of Allah? We're also doing salam to Bibi Hajar. Because Allah wanted to show, do you know how difficult it is for a mother to see her son die? I know, I created the mom and I created the son. And I know the heart of the mom. And I know the smile of the son. But when I see all of this, I see a mother who I'm going to honor, that all tawaf remembers her. And every Muslim who completes Hajj honors her. Therefore, in the Quran, Allah shows us mothers who are in extreme pain with the separation of their child. But those same mothers realize that that child has rights on them. Because we know very well, it's not just the mother who's in pain. The father is in pain. The mother is in pain. When a mother and a father have children, do those children have rights on them? Yes, they do. What are the rights of those children? For example, what is the right of the son? The first right of the son, you give him a good name. You know what I love about the names of the 4 that passed away? All of them are wonderful names. Today I hear some names which some Muslim Shia parents give their children. I don't even know what the meaning is. I think they went on Google, they wrote cool names. They came up with anything that came up and they gave the name. When I see Yusuf, named after Yusuf alayhi salam. When I see, for example, a name like Salman, named after the Sahabi of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi, Salman al-Muhammadi. Such names are names which highlight that those kids were to be reflections of prophets and of lovers of Ahlul Bayt salawatullah sallallahu alayhi. Because Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, your children, being an amana, they have rights over you. Number 1, you give them a good name. You know how many Arabs used to have disgusting names? I remember Umar ibn al-Khattab had named his daughter, Asiya. Asiya, not Asiya. Asiya with the Ain and Sad. Asiya, wife of Fir'aun, is with Alif and Sin. Asiya means the sinful one. Imagine you name your daughter sinful. So how's she going to have taqwa if she's called sinful? Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam changed her name to Jamila. Muawiyah saw someone one day, he was called Sharik. Sharik means partner. لم يكن لك شريك في الملك. Muawiyah saw him, he said to him, look, your name is Sharik, partner. Allah has no partners. He said, I feel sorry for you, Muawiyah. You make fun of my name? Your name means female dog. Muawiyah, what's his name mean? Female dog. Therefore the Arabs, did they honor the rights of their children, the amana that came from Allah? You found that they did not honor by the name. Islam said first right of that child is what? Is that you made sure you gave them a good name. Yusuf, lovely name. Suhail, Zahid, Salman, beautiful names. Second thing is that you taught them Quran. The beauty of these 4, each one of them used to go madrasa to learn Quran. That child, these rights, if you fulfilled them, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, don't worry about anything, don't grieve. Your children are in Jannat. Number 1, good name. Number 2, teach them Quran. Not just you throw them to madrasa, you also sit with them and you teach them the Holy Quran. Number 3, teach them akhlaq. Where was their last action? In a nightclub? Before they died, where were they? Nightclub? No. Casino? No. Mujra? No. Where were they? Taking drugs? No. Sitting in a haram gathering? Where were they? Gambling? Polka? Where were they? In the mosque compound next to the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When a parent has their children who love madrasa, love the Quran, love the Ahl al-Bayt, and are around the mosque, that parent shouldn't worry about that child. That child is straight to Jannah. Because that child's last act was next to mosque. When the amana Allah gave you, you returned it back ma'soom. That is the best gift you've been given. Some people look at this cup half empty. Sometimes we look half full. I lost a child, but I gave Allah the amanat back ma'soom. How many parents there are in the world today who have 18-year-olds, 25-year-olds, 30-year-olds, their children have left far away from religion? What do they say to Allah about the amanah that was given to them? Therefore, when the parents have observed the rights, and the parents have recognized that this is an amanah, that makes the trial easier. But no doubt that trial continues and continues. And when it does continue, when you keep thinking, my child, why did I lose my child? I wish I had my child. Who do you hold on to? Who does the mother of Yusuf hold on to? Who does the mother of Salman hold on to? Who does the mother of Zahid hold on to? Who does the mother of Suhail hold on to? Who do the mothers of the other 32 who passed away, who do they hold on to? One may tell them about mothers' Islamic history who lost children as well. First one, Bibi Khadija. Many of us forget Bibi Khadija lost boys. At least your boys in some cases reached the age of 12, 13. Bibi Khadija, young boy, dead. Qasim died, Abdullah died, Ibrahim died, Bibi Khadija, 3 boys died young. Tell me, Bibi Khadija, did she hurt anyone in life? Bibi Khadija was bad to anyone? Because you know, sometimes people say to you, this happened because you are not religious, because you have done guna. And Bibi Khadija, which guna she did? 3 children, 3 boys Bibi Khadija lost. If ever the mothers of Yusuf and Salman, Suhail and Zad ever feel down, hold on to Bibi Khadija. Second, who lost another? Bibi Fatima lost a baby. Bibi Fatima hurt anyone? Khadija lost 3. Fatima lost 1. Zainab lost the whole family. Because I tell you, Karbala, what is it about? Karbala is about watching your children die. When a mom cannot see the child in their last moments and finds out, it's not easy. But imagine a mom seeing Aoun fall and then Muhammad. Not just seeing Aoun and Muhammad fall, telling them, if you don't fight, I will be sad. Zainab, you're a mom? How could you watch them die? They are Allah's amanat returning. Allah gave me them, Allah takes. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. That young boy in Karbala, his mom said, go and fight. Imam Hussein said, go back, you're young. The mom said, why haven't you gone? He said, Abu Abdullah said, no, she went to Abu Abdullah. What do I show Bibi Fatima? And the young boy would come out proudly, ready to fight for Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. Likewise, I ask you, how difficult was it for the mothers who saw their sons go and the ones who never saw their sons die? Of those who saw their sons go, you look at Ali al-Akbar's mom. You look at Ali al-Akbar's mom, she saw her son go and it broke her heart, no doubt. Seeing Akbar returned in the state he was. Qasim's mother saw her son go. Seeing his body come back. Then there were mothers who never expected their sons to leave them. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward the mothers of the 4 boys who lost, the 4 mothers who lost their boys, by them holding on and receiving the shafa'ah of 2 ladies, one lady at Karbala and another in Medina. Which lady at Karbala? The lady at Karbala who never expected her 6-month-old baby to fall fall in front of her. When the arrow hit the neck of Asghar Imam al-Hussein, went back and forth 7 times, calling out, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. What does a parent do except when they hear that their child has died, they call out, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. And they asked Amma Abdullah, why is it that you call out and you walk one way and the other? He said to them, I don't know how to tell our mother that her baby's neck has been pierced in half. Because for a mother, when she hears that her baby, her child was on the ground and the child was hurt, it breaks her heart. Hold on to Rabab from the plains of Karbala. But if you never were there when your child died, then hold on to al-Banin. al-Banin, mother of Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas, was not at Karbala. She was away from Karbala. She had 4 sons at Karbala. If you lost one son in Dar, come to the lady in Medina who lost 4 of her sons. Can a mother ever survive losing a son like Abbas? Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Ya Allah, raise us with Muhammad and al-Muhammad. Raise us with the Imam of our time, Imam Sahib al-Asri wal-Zaman. Ya Allah, bless the parents of these 4 young men. Allow them to receive the Shafa of Muhammad and al-Muhammad. We pray for the marhumin of the families, as well as those who are feeling unwell with the eye of the Quran. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Amma yujibu al-mudtarra idha da'a wa yakshibu as-su'a. Amma يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء. أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء. أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء. أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء. Ya Allah, give sabr and tawakkul and taslim to the mothers of these 4 boys. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all our brethren in Dar es Salaam Jamaat. Ya Allah, raise them with Muhammad and al-Muhammad. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the Surah Al-Fatiha, but before it the loudest of your salawat.
We would like to thank you, Sayyidina, for that wonderful month.
We would like to call upon Brother Ahmed Raza Nasri for the recitation of Noha.
بر محمد وآل محمد صلوات اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. नोहे के कुछ शेर इमाम हुसैन अलैहिस्सलाम की खिदमत में जनाब अली अकबर का पुरसा पेश करते हुए. And can I request everyone to recite with me with your loudest voice. Ali Ali Akbar Ali 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 Akbar Ali Ali Shabih Payambar Ali Ali Shabih Payambar Ali Ali Ay Jana Ali Ali Akbar Ali 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 Akbar Ali Ali Shabih Payambar Ali Ali Shabih Payambar Ali Ali Ay Jana नजर उठा के तो माँ को देखो ऐ बेटा ऐ जाना क्यों सर झुकाए खड़े हुए हो ऐ बेटा ऐ जाना तुम ही तो मादर का आसरा हो ऐ बेटा ऐ जान मादर अले अली मिलके ऐ जान मादर अले अली ऐ जान मादर अले अली शबीह पैगंबर अले अली शबीह पैगंबर अले अली 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 अकबर अली अली علی علی اکبر علی علی شبیہ پیامبر علی علی شبیہ پیامبر علی علی ای جانب نبی کی صورت نبی کی سیرت اے اکبر ای جانب نثار تجھ پہ جہاں کی عظمت اے اکبر ای جانب پکارتی ہے تجھے شہادت اے اکبر ای گل حیدر علی علی ای گل حیدر علی علی شبیہ پیامبر علی علی شبیہ پیامبر علی 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 اکبر علی 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 اکبر علی علی مل کے سارے شبیہ پیامبر علی علی شبیہ پیامبر علی علی ای جانب ہے ام لیلا کے لب پہ نہا واویلا ای جانب لہو میں ڈوبا ہے لال میرا واویلا ای جانب ہوا غسینے کے پار نیزہ واویلا فدا ہو مادر علی علی فدا ہو مادر علی علی شبیہ پیامبر علی علی شبیہ پیامبر علی 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 اکبر علی علی مل کے سارے علی علی اکبر علی علی شبیہ پیامبر علی علی شبیہ پیامبر علی ای جانب ہے خون کی پیاسی فوج آدھا آ جاؤ ای جانب اتار زینب تمہارا صدقہ آ جاؤ ای جانب صدائیں دیتی ہے بنت زہرا آ جاؤ ردائے زینب علی علی ردائے زینب علی علی شبیہ پیامبر علی علی شبیہ پیامبر علی 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 اکبر علی 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 اکبر علی علی شبیہ پیامبر علی علی شبیہ پیامبر علی علی ای جانب بتاؤ کامل لکھوں میں کیسے وہ منظر ای جانب وپا تھا کرب و بلا میں ہائے وہ محشر ای جانب اٹھائے لاشا کمر خمیدہ تھے سرور صدائے اکبر علی علی صدائے اکبر علی علی شبیہ پیامبر علی علی شبیہ پیامبر علی 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 اکبر علی 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 اکبر علی علی شبیہ پیامبر علی علی شبیہ پیامبر علی علی بر محمد وآل محمد صلوات اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد. Kindly recite Surah Fatiha for marhum Suhail Ali Muhammad Kareem, Salman Salim Damji, Yusuf Shafiq Khaki, Zahid Abbas Muhammad Kanji, and all of our marhumeens and shahadas of Islam with the loudest salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم محمد وآل محمد صلوات اللهم.
Thank you for the heart-touching Noha. We would like to conclude our Majlis with the recitation of Ziyarat by Sibtain Lamsi.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. I begin in the name of Allah, the most gracious and the most merciful. A Surah Fatiha is requested for Marhum Suhail Ali Muhammad Kareem, Marhum Salman Salim Damji, Marhum Zahid Abbas Muhammad Kanji, Marhum Yusuf Shafiq Khaki, and Arwah al-Mu'mineen wal-Mu'minat. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. صدق الله العلي العظيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليك يا وارث آدم صفوة الله. السلام عليك يا وارث نوح نبي الله. السلام عليك يا وارث إبراهيم خليل الله. السلام عليك يا وارث موسى كليم الله. السلام عليك يا وارث عيسى روح الله. السلام عليك يا وارث محمد حبيب الله. السلام عليك يا وارث أمير المؤمنين ولي الله. السلام عليك يا ابن محمد المصطفى. السلام عليك يا ابن علي المرتضى. السلام عليك يا ابن فاطمة الزهراء. السلام عليك يا ابن خديجة الكبرى. السلام عليك يا ثار الله وابن ثاره والوتر الموتور. أشهد أنك قد أقمت الصلاة وآتيت الزكاة وأمرت بالمعروف ونهيت عن المنكر وأطعت الله ورسوله حتى أتاك اليقين. فلعن الله أمة قتلتك ولعن الله أمة ظلمتك ولعن الله أمة سمعت بذلك فرضيت به. يا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله أشهد أنك كنت نورا في الأصلاب الشامخة والأرحام المطهرة. لم تنجسك الجاهلية بأنجاسها ولم تلبسك من مدلهمات ثيابها، وأشهد أنك من دعائم الدين وأركان المؤمنين، وأشهد أنك الإمام البر التقي الرضي الزكي الهادي المهدي، وأشهد أن الأئمة من ولدك كلمة التقوى وأعلام الهدى والعروة الوثقى والحجة على أهل الدنيا، وأشهد الله وملائكته وأنبياءه ورسله أني بكم مؤمن وبيابكم موقن بشرائع ديني وخواتيم عملي، وقلبي لقلبكم سلم وأمري لأمركم متبع. صلوات الله عليكم وعلى أرواحكم وعلى أجسادكم وعلى أجسامكم وعلى شاهدكم وعلى غائبكم وعلى ظاهركم وعلى باطنكم. السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله، السلام عليك يا ابن نبي الله، السلام عليك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليك يا ابن الحسين الشهيد، السلام عليك أيها الشهيد وابن الشهيد، السلام عليك أيها المظلوم وابن المظلوم. لعن الله أمة قتلتك، ولعن الله أمة ظلمتك، ولعن الله أمة سمعت بذلك فرضيت به. السلام عليكم يا أولياء الله وأحباء، السلام عليكم يا أصفياء الله وأوداء، السلام عليكم يا أنصار دين الله، السلام عليكم يا أنصار رسول الله، السلام عليكم يا أنصار أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليكم يا أنصار فاطمة سيدتي نساء العالمين، السلام عليكم يا أنصار أبي محمد الحسن بن علي الولي الزكي الناصح، السلام عليكم يا أنصار أبي عبد الله، بأبي أنتم أمي طبتم، وطابت الأرض التي فيها دفنتم، وفزتم فوزا عظيما، فيا ليتني كنت معكم فأفوز معكم. السلام عليك يا أبا الفضل العباس يا ابن أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليك يا ابن سيد الوصيين، السلام عليك يا ابن أول القوم إسلاما وأقدمهم إيمانا وأقومهم بدين الله وأحوطهم على الإسلام. أشهد لقد نصحت لله ولرسوله ولأخيك فنعم الأخ المواسي، فلعن الله أمة قتلتك، ولعن الله أمة ظلمتك، ولعن الله أمة استحلت منك المحارم، وانتهكت حرمة الإسلام، فنعم الصابر المجاهد المحامي الناصر، والأخ الدافع والأخي المجيب إلى طاعة ربه الراغب، فيما زيد فيه غيره من الثواب الجزيل والثناء الجميل، وألحقك الله بدرجة آبائك في جنات النعيم. السلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته، والفاتحة مع الصلوات.
We would like to thank all viewers for taking your precious time to attend this Majlis. May Allah bless you all. Let us now recite Surah Fatiha for all marhumin around the world.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Malik Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alayhim ghayril maghdubi 'alayhim waladdallin.